If you're using GitHub Copilot, there's a very high chance you're making a huge mistake, a really critical one, actually. So today we are going to break down what that mistake is, why it's costing you so much time, and most importantly, how to fix it for good.
So get this, according to a study of over 2,400 developers, a whopping 90% are using prompt engineering for their AI coding assistants all wrong, and it's seriously holding them back.
And that's the big question, isn't it? Are you in that 90%? I mean, if you've ever just typed a quick, vague one-line comment and then gotten super frustrated with the junk code that Copilot spits out, well, the answer is probably yes.
And look, this isn't just some small annoyance. That frustration adds up. On average, writing bad prompts is costing developers 6 hours of completely wasted time every single week. That's time you could be innovating. But instead, you're stuck debugging and rewriting code that the AI should have nailed on the first try.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to unpack this 90% problem. Then, I'll introduce you to the ICS framework. This is the secret sauce. After that, we'll cover 5 essential prompt patterns, some language-specific tricks, and the 7 productivity killers you have to avoid. And we'll wrap it all up with a jaw-dropping $61,000 payoff.
All right, let's really dig into this 90% problem. At its core, it's about treating Copilot like it can read your mind, when really it's just a tool that needs incredibly clear instructions. This is exactly why, for so many people, it just feels like a glorified autocomplete, instead of the game-changing partner it's supposed to be.
And that leads us to the most important mindset shift you need to make. You have to stop treating your prompts like a wish you're just tossing into the universe. Instead, think of every prompt as a detailed contract. The more precise the terms are in that contract, the better the final product is going to be. This one idea is what separates the top 10% of Copilot users from literally everyone else.
So how do you write a rock-solid contract for your code? Well, you use a blueprint. And for us, that blueprint is called the ICES framework. It's a super simple, easy-to-remember method for building prompts that get you accurate code pretty much every single time.
ICES. It stands for Intent, Context, Examples, and Specificity. Each one of these pieces builds on the last to give the AI a full 360-degree view of what you want. This just demolishes ambiguity and cuts down on errors.
Okay, let's start with I for intent. Instead of just sort array, which is a wish, look at the good prompt. It explains not just the what, sorting a user array, but the why, for dashboard display. That why is pure gold. It tells Copilot the purpose, which helps it generate much more relevant and useful code.
Next up, C for context. And this is all about setting up guardrails. A prompt like /validate email is a total shot in the dark. But when you add constraints, like using a specific RFC standard or rejecting disposable emails, you're guiding the AI. You're preventing it from giving you some generic function that will absolutely break on real-world edge cases.
Then we have E for examples. Honestly, think of these as tiny little unit tests you build right into your prompt. Instead of just saying /calculate discount, you're showing it the pattern. If the quantity is 10, the discount is 5%. By doing this, you're not asking it to guess the logic, you're teaching it the logic. It's a huge difference.
And finally, S for Specificity. This is where you kill all the guesswork. The bad prompt? It's just lazy. But the good prompt? It specifies the exact API endpoint, the return type, a promise of a user profile, and even what to do on an error. This is the difference between getting a function and getting the exact function you need.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at the data. By switching from a vague prompt to the ICS framework, your code accuracy skyrockets from, maybe 30% to over 80%. And your average debug time, it plummets from 45 minutes to just 6. That is an insane return for just a few extra seconds spent writing a better prompt.
Okay, so now that we have the ICES framework down, let's talk about where to use it. We're going to cover 5 essential patterns that you'll use constantly in your day-to-day work.
These are your bread and butter, right? You can use ICES for generating brand new code from scratch. You can use it for debugging by explaining what you expected versus what actually happened. You can use it to refactor old, clunky code, to generate entire test suites. And yes, even to write documentation that people will actually want to read. These 5 patterns cover so much ground.
Now, if you really want to level up, you can take the ICSS framework and make it language-specific, because tailoring your prompts to the programming language you're in, well, it's a massive force multiplier.
So for instance, if you're in Python, you should be telling it to follow PEP 8 and use type hints. In Java, you can reference specific annotations like @service or design patterns. For TypeScript, define your interfaces right there in the prompt. When you give Copilot this kind of native, idiomatic context, it gives you back beautiful code that fits perfectly into your project.
All right, just as important as knowing what to do is knowing what not to do. So, let's run through the 7 anti-patterns, the productivity killers that you need to eliminate from your workflow right now. Okay, every single one of these is a trap. You've got the magic mind reader, that's our old friend, the vague prompt. Using a vague verb like handle this instead of validate this. The context-free island, where you give no business context. The single-word prompt, like just authentication. The copy-paste lazy, where you don't tailor your examples. The one-shot wonder, this is a big one. Just accepting the first thing it gives you. And finally, no examples at all. Cutting these habits is a total game changer.
So why does all this matter? Well, because at the end of the day, this isn't just about writing better code. It's about a real, measurable, and pretty significant return on your investment of time.
When you actually do the math, mastering these techniques gives the average developer back a staggering 25.5 hours every single week. I mean, think about that. That's more than half of a standard work week just handed back to you. And this chart breaks down exactly where all that time comes from. We're not talking about small stuff here. We're talking about huge reductions in time spent on the core activities of being a developer: coding, debugging, and testing.
And when you put a dollar amount on that reclaimed time, it translates to over $61,000. That's per developer per year. The business case is just undeniable.
So what do you do now? It's simple. Start today. The very next time you open your editor, consciously use the ISIS framework. Make it a personal mission to eliminate those 7 anti-patterns. And of course, for more tutorials like this, subscribe to GitAware DevOps AI. But if you do just one thing, make it this. Promise yourself you will never, ever write a vague, one-line comment again.